Hello, I'm JW. This is a fairly short video, but it's just covering over a test rig which I've built, and it's going to be used in a number of upcoming videos for various test purposes, mainly to do with ARC fault detection devices and also RCDs and possibly some other stuff as well, as it has a variety of uses. So we're just going to have a quick look at it in a moment and how it basically works. And I'm mainly doing this video because in the actual videos of testing I'm not intending to go and describe the thing obviously each time, because that would be fairly tedious, so I'll just refer back to this particular video if people are interested on how it actually works. And I'd also point out that this is not really the kind of thing you should go and start building yourself unless you're absolutely certain exactly what you're doing, because bearing in mind this is not a piece of equipment intended for use by anybody else. It is a piece of test equipment, and using it incorrectly or putting your fingers where they shouldn't be could result in injury or death. So although we're going to look at how it's done there, I would not recommend you build this yourself unless you're absolutely certain about what you're doing and you obviously understand the risks involved. So this is what we've got here. Now this is just basically a wooden piece at the bottom here, two pieces on the back, and it's got this metal rail here, commonly called DIN rail, and this is what circuit breakers and the like clip onto. Normally you'd find this inside a consumer unit, so quite convenient just to mount various devices up there. Now it's got a fairly random selection of stuff on here at the moment. That's not particularly important there. This thing connects to the power via this plug here. This is a 16 amp 230 volt connector there, so 3 pins there. And then we've got this fairly substantial lead coming in. This is 3-core 2.5mm squared. And it's got this big plug on the end so that when things here are being adjusted or modified, this is actually removed from the supply. We're not just going to rely on a switch, because obviously switches can and do fail. So when this is being adjusted in any of the other videos, this plug has actually been removed from the matching socket installed in this building. So obviously that's for safety purposes. Now, I'll just turn around to the back of the thing here. This is where the main lead comes in. These blue ones are just for those circuit breakers. The actual earth from the supply is connected over here to the metal rail, so that's the real earth, if you wish to call it that. And then we've got here the two conductors, the blue and brown here, which are in heat shrink, so this is the standard core with this over the top as an extra layer of insulation. So that's the line and the neutral, and that's basically the incoming supply. In this case just goes into the top of that old RCD over there. And then this one is being used as the earth connection. Now this is not the same as this earth connection here. This one, as it's got the blue on it as well, is actually combined with this neutral here, and the reason for that is if we're going to test an RCD on this, if we just connected to this earth, then it would trip the RCD here when it was tested, but it could also trip an upstream RCD which supplies the circuits in these buildings. So this is not this ground, it's a separate ground, and therefore it's done that way to tripping this one only and not cutting off the supply to the building. Additionally, then we've got here, this is the sort of outgoing side of the circuit breaker here, and again it's the line and neutral, double insulated there with heat shrink, and the end is covered here, and then this flex goes into this socket along with the sort of virtualized earth, as we want to call it that. So that's what we've got on the back. Now on the front here, so this is the device that's currently connected, we have a twin or double socket outlet here with switches, and this is double pole switching, and then this one is also double pole switching. This is just a single outlet. Now the way this is wired is not in the conventional manner. This one is actually wired in series with these, and the earth on this one is not connected to anything, and the point of this is that we can plug in here a load such as say, an electrical heater or something like that, and then on the other side of this, which of course is in parallel with that load, we could then plug in, say, a test meter or some other piece of equipment, say an RCD tester or something like that. So therefore we can have a load running and at the same time, say, monitor the voltage or do an RCD test or something along those lines as well. Now this is actually in series with the load of this one, and these two pins are basically two sides of what is the neutral connection for the sockets over here. So in its default state here, if we powered this up and switched it on, with nothing plugged in here, this isn't actually going to do anything or work because there's no path for the current to go through. However, if we were to take this accessory plug here, this is just a normal 13 amp plug with a fuse in, and it has a loop here of wire. Again, this is double insulated, it's basically a single core grey wire there, and it has this transparent PVC over the top of that, and this basically just connects inside between the line and the neutral, Now, of course, in normal circumstances, this plug would never be used because you put that into a normal socket, it's a direct short between line and neutral. But if we were to place it into here, this will now act as just a normal socket, and basically the current will go through there, through this loop, and then into the outlets here in the normal way. So whatever we plug in here will just work normally. And you might be thinking, what on earth is the point of this? Well, one point of this particular accessory with just a loop of wire is that we could take a clamp meter, place it around this single wire here, and that will give us the current that's actually flowing in the circuit and our load and whatever else we've got attached here. So very useful way of measuring the current going through. Now, there are some other accessories which can plug in here, that just being one of them. The next accessory is this elegant device. Again, standard plug, and it's got that same double insulated wires there. But in this case, instead of just a loop, we have the wires going to these brass pieces here. So one side is there. So in that state, it's an open circuit, but of course we can then adjust here. So now we've closed the circuit, and specifically in the case of arc fault detection devices, we can then adjust this to provide a small gap here, so we can then get arcing between these, which then of course should trip the arc fault detection devices, assuming of course that they're working and they're obviously the current range and things are in the right level and all that. So for that kind of demonstration, then again it's the same deal here. That plugs in there, and then it's in series with the load, and then we can basically just justify the things here and get various arcs between those items. And there's a closer look of that. So it's basically power comes in there into one of the sides, goes there, then returns to that, and then goes through the load on the top. And we can just adjust this over here, off shot there, so we're considerably far away. Just either twist this to get a sort of a good connection there. They're both fairly well adjustable, and obviously move them apart to get the arcing and things we need in the front. Both sides do adjust. They're just basically plastic pipes here, and then obviously can just be moved in and out as appropriate. I'm able to see there's a bit of a black mark on that one where I've already just checked it out to make sure that it does in fact work as intended. And in terms of the safety on this, obviously if you were to touch these when it's powered up, then there's going to be a lot of electric shocks happening, but of course we're not doing that. We're going to be holding over here on this end only, well away from any arcing or whatever that's going on there. Now, there are a couple of other plugs I've made here. This one and this one look like normal plugs, but actually they're not. Inside of these we've actually got a diode between line and neutral, and we've also got the same diode in here but in the opposite direction. So the point of these is that if we were to plug in here with our diode, plug a heater in here for example, or some other resistive load, basically what's going to happen is that heater is going to work on half power because we've got a diode in series, so it's going to work on each half of the AC waveform. And then the point of that is to then, with another piece of equipment which is not actually here at the moment, is then we can see what effect that's going to have on an RCD, and more specifically a type AC, which of course are not designed to work on pulsed DC, which is effectively what we're going to get from this sort of half-wave rectified stuff there. And so we've got the two there for the various polarities, positive and negative. And again, once we've got that there, we can then plug in here with our actual heater there, and the other piece of equipment will go in here, and what that's going to be used for is to adjust the current which flows between either all of it going via the neutral, and then we can actually adjust so some of it will return via the earth and basically simulate an earth fault. And then we shall see what actually happens, whether it trips or not, and whether RCDs in themselves are actually any good in this type of situation, because pulsed DC is something which is going to occur in a lot of installations, because basically anything inside has a rectifier, which is basically any kind of electronics. A fault inside could cause that kind of thing to occur. And of course if you've got a type AC RCD in your house, which is by far the most common type, there's a good chance that it may not trip, or it may not take too long, or the trip current may be far too high, or whatever else. So at the moment we don't actually know, but something we're going to be looking into, and we're going to get a whole selection of different RCDs. This one here we have is fairly typical example. It's a Hager one, type AC, and this one's actually broken because the test button doesn't actually work, but just there for a quick test that we did earlier. So a number of experiments and tests we're going to do with them, and so we're going to test various different makes and styles of RCD as well. In terms of the other device we've got here, these are some arc fault detection devices. That's the Eaton one, the 3-module thing, which we've seen in a previous video. This one here is an Electrium one. This is actually branded Wilex, but same company as the Crabtree and things as well. Similar purpose to this, but again fairly different in design. It's a 2-module device, has a flying lead for the neutral rather than the direct connections, and you can see it's a different module on the side there, and the standard 16-amp circuit breaker sort of clipped across like that. And then this one is a third style. This is a Proteus model, happens to be a 32-amp, but it doesn't particularly matter. Again, it's got the flying lead here, and this is a single module circuit breaker with the other piece on the side there, and it's got this sort of piece on the top you can remove and electrically disconnect the arc fault part. So that's 3 types there, and of course there may be others as well at some point. And again, we're going to test those with that arc rig and various other things. So let's look there at that particular test rig there, and say that's going to be used in a number of other videos. So in those particular videos it won't be explained in any great detail. Obviously just refer to this one should that be necessary. And as I said at the beginning, not the sort of thing you should necessarily go building yourself unless you in fact understand exactly what's going on there. And if you don't, then of course that's the whole purpose of building it. You can go and watch the other videos and see what happens without having to do that yourself. Now that's pretty much it for this video, and I say we'll be seeing it again in a number of others. Until then, thanks for watching.